ceremonial drinks to launch a new era in commercial aviation. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner has its first commercial flight today, October the 26th, from here, Tokyo, to Hong Kong. We've had the press conferences, we've had the opening speeches. Now it's time to fly. Now, the Dreamliner, the Boeing 787, has been called revolutionary. It's been called a game changer. And that is why. This material is actually a high-tech plastic. It's called a composite. It's been reinforced with carbon fibres, which makes it very strong and very light. This plane is probably 15% lighter than a plane the same size made out of aluminium. And what this allows Boeing to do is to create what they say a new passenger experience inside the cabin. Let's go and see what they're talking about. Good morning. Good morning. I have to say, the first thing you notice are the ceilings, much, much higher. And that the lighting is a lot more soothing. And because plastic doesn't rust, there's higher humidity and higher cabin pressure, closer to normal on-the-ground conditions. Personally, I didn't notice that. Once in the air, my fellow passengers, though, were very positive.
I have to tell you, next to the day I was married and my 2 sons were born, this is the biggest day of my life, so I'm just thrilled to be here. I mean, the ceiling height is dramatic, the lighting is dramatic.
Because of the wider seats, higher ceilings and more headroom, I can be relaxed.
My own personal favourite has to be the window. This is 30% bigger, this window, but most of it is coming at the top, so you really get a sense of a much more panoramic view outside. You can really see much more what's going on instead of hunching over. And the other great thing about this window is that it actually self-tints, so there's no slides anymore. You press that button and it gradually darkens to a point where the sun rays are shut out, but you can still see what's going on outside.
The windows, to me, there's something about being in an aircraft for an extended period of time. But when you have a little bit of the outside brought in and you don't have to shut the curtains, then you're perfect.
One of the more unexpected highlights on this plane has turned out to be the toilet here in the middle of the plane. Why? Well, because it's the loo with a view. Nearly 4 hours later, our ANA flight is on the tarmac in Hong Kong. This hasn't been the party flight that the launch of the A380 Super Jumbo was, says those in the know, but for most people on board, it's still been the trip of a lifetime. So a successful maiden flight for the Dreamliner. The 787 is now officially in service across the world. 821 orders Boeing now has to fill. They hope this is indeed a game changer, something different for the aviation industry. Talking to people on board, they'd certainly agree with that sentiment. Andrew Stevens, CNN, Hong Kong.